everyone, and welcome back to this episode. I have a wonderful interview for you. It is with Ariska Scott. She goes by Coach Risk. She's a board certified Christian mental health coach and transformational life coach. She helps women break self-sabotage and step into the version of themselves that God called them to be. As the founder of A Bountiful Solution, and the creator of the Selfish Society and Let's Get Selfish workshops, she blends faith, mindset, and healing to help women reclaim their identity, rebuild confidence, and create lives rooted in clarity and purpose. She guides women into their selfish era, choosing themselves, confronting what's been holding them back, and rising into God-centered alignment. Now, before we just dive into the conversation, I just wanted to share something with you. Ariska was one of my clients a number of months ago, and she is one of the most practical, down-to-earth coaches that I have met in a long time. And one of the things that I really appreciate about her is she's had some tough challenges in her life. And she has really leaned into her values and leaned into all of the things that she brings to her clients to transform her life. So she really walks in integrity. And that is why I wanted to share this conversation today. Welcome to the show, Coach Risk. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. I'm trying not to get emotional.
Well, it's okay. You can get emotional. We're human. Humans do emotion. That's our thing.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm
So
well.
let's talk a little bit about how you became this coach. How did your journey happen?
Ooh. So the journey to self is what I call it. I was the woman who was a people pleaser, who gave everything to everybody, who self-sabotaged a lot, who suffered from self-abandonment, and abandonment issues myself. So in 2016, my husband and I separated, and I was on myself for the first time in my adult life. But I wasn't just by myself. I had two babies that was looking up to me that I had to guide in the right direction. And I couldn't do that without working on me. So I started doing the things, putting myself first, figuring out who I was because I did not have an identity. Self identity was a far-fetched thought because my identity was attached to everybody else and not me. So 2016 was when I started the journey of self, but becoming a coach came from working in public health. I worked in public health for almost 20 years. I helped people, I coached people, I mentored people, being a part of a sorority, mentoring girls, helping my friend with her business. So coaching just came naturally. It's just something that I always do. I've always been a friend that my friends would call and ask for advice. What you think of this? How should I go about that? And it just came naturally.
So out of this, I mean, it's been essentially 10 years that you've been on this journey. You created the selfish shift framework.
Selfish. Yeah.
Like I'm listening, break it down and share how it helps women overcome self-sabotage and step boldly into their purpose. Really want to hear the framework behind it, especially.
Okay, the selfish shift framework, self in itself stands for striving, elevating, leading, and flourishing in life and in business. The women that I work with, a lot of them are in life transitions. The majority of them are female entrepreneurs. So I help them strive to be who God called them to be. They're leading with love and faith, and then flourishing just in life and business. So the selfish shift framework is a 5-pillar framework. We start with self-awareness, where we recognize the pattern. From self-awareness, we go into self-compassion, where we stop shaming that pattern. From there, we go to self-discipline, where we take action despite the pattern. Then we go into self-forgiveness, releasing the history of the pattern. And then self-confidence, becoming a woman God created us to be by trusting ourselves again, because God has restored us.
There's something in the way that you described this. I can really see the transformation journey for your clients to go from this place of awareness through choosing, through allowing themselves to become who they're meant to be. And then also the forgiveness piece. That's a
That's a
big
big piece.
piece as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you give me an example of somebody that has gone through this process with you and how their life has changed?
It's so many. So
So fun.
yes, yes. The Selfish Society, which I beta tested this year, earlier this year, after coming out of coaching with you and just going through things. I did a beta some years ago called Reignite Her, which I did, which was an 8-week cohort with some female entrepreneurs. So I knew community was something that was needed. So it was like, what worked for you? I went back and I thought about the things that worked for me, and being a part of a community was the thing. And then working with the women in the community, I know it is a need. So I was like, what can I create? So Selfish Society started in May of this year. And in September, we tapped into the self forgiveness pillar. And it was I think that was kind of almost the breaking point for some of the women, all because we hold on to so much and we blame ourselves for so many things that has happened in our lives that we shouldn't even be blaming ourselves for. We can't control what other individuals do. We can only control ourselves. But as women, we internalize a lot and we take that and we carry those things. So seeing the weight just release off the women, it was an amazing thing to witness. I actually had a licensed clinical social worker join me in that session, and she helped navigate what the women were going through and what they were feeling.
And so now what's possible for them that they have released that weight, this weight of shame and self-judgment?
They are excelling in their businesses. Like, they are flowing freely. They are no longer bottled in. There's no more, they, like, popped out of the box, like the Jack in the Box, like, "Okay, I forgave myself. Now what can I do with this? Where can I go forward with this?" And it's been just amazing to witness.
Talk to me a little bit about the self-sabotage part of this. Like, I know that your framework and the program covers a lot, but talk about self-sabotage and what you've really noticed with your clients, and then what happens when they start to gain that awareness and move forward.
So Imma share backstory with that self-sabotage. I started my first business in 2017, and my first business was a home bakery, Buns by the Pound. So I compared myself a lot to Nothing Bunts Cakes, which is an international, national chain store for bundt cakes, and that's kinda similar to what I did. In that process, I suffer from procrastination. I suffer from perfectionism syndrome, is what I call it, because if the cake came out the oven and it didn't look right, I threw it away. I didn't even taste it. If it just didn't look up to par, it was in the trash. So I wasted a lot of money, ingredients, just time, period. And I had to come to the point where, girl, you is not them. That is a international franchise. Like, you are a home baker. You do all the things that you're doing. So why are you comparing yourself to that? And why are you suffering thinking that it has to be perfect? My clients was like, "I don't care what that look like. It tastes so good to me." And I helping the women recognize those patterns, because some of us don't recognize that. We just keep going and going, and we wondering why we're not getting to the next level. So a lot of my clients, especially perfectionism, is a thing that holds them hostage. They think if it's not perfect, I can't put it out there. And we just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago inside the Selfish Society was, if it's not if it's not perfect, I can't put it out there. And I was like, well, if you don't put it out there, how are your clients going to know that you even exist? How are you going to even reach them? You have to let it go. Just put it out there. It don't have to be perfect. You perfect it along the way.
Nice. I love that. And as you're describing the cake and the self-sabotage of comparing your fledgling business with an international business, it's really this comparing the apples and the oranges, right?
Yes.
And when an apple is an amazing fruit, it doesn't need to be an orange to be perfect. It can be
Mhm.
the best apple that it can be. I mean, think of all the things that you can make out of an apple, right? But it's never going to be an orange. So to compare these two things is like, it's not just self-sabotage, but it's like an unwinnable argument,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
then when you put yourself in that position, you're so stuck in this unwinnable, untenable position that you can never move forward. You can never be in multiple states,
Yeah. And
even,
then
let alone. international, right?
Right, and in that, you suffered from that because now you because it's not perfect, now it don't lead to you're procrastinating because now I don't even wanna do it anymore. I'm not even I don't have that fulfillment anymore. I don't want it. I don't so you're procrastinating in it, and then it's the time mismanagement, and then it's the dwelling on past mistakes. Well, when I tried it before, it didn't happen. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle, and a lot of it stems from childhood. I tell
Mm.
my ladies, and the thing when I talk about perfectionism, I always share this one thing as kids. I have them always go back to remember when we were learning how to write and you had to take the pen and you had to trace the letters. And then when it was your turn to write it, if it wasn't right, you had to erase it and start over. You got popped on a hand. That was teaching us that we had to be perfect. It had to look exactly like the original look, because if it didn't, we had to erase it and start over again. So everything in our life, we feel that we have to erase and start over again when now it's just, no, put it out there. So we had to learn, unlearn, and now a lot of us as adults are relearning the things that we were taught as children.
Yeah. As you're describing all that, I'm just really hearing the self part of the self-sabotage. Like we learn this outer behavior in a completely different environment at a completely different time in our life. And then somehow we're taking that past learned behavior and bringing it forward into every single thing. But it's really, it's on us. Like
Yes.
we're doing it. And like the very first pillar of your program, around awareness. Like if we
Yeah.
don't even notice that we're doing it. And I have to say, it is very sad that you don't have the passion for baking the same way that you did, right? Like when you like you're holding, it's not the look of the cake. It's like you said, those people said, but I love the taste of it. To
Mhm.
sit down with a nice piece of cake and a cup of tea and enjoy the experience, right?
Yeah.
And then because it didn't look perfect, you deprive people of that lovely experience.
Yes, I did. I did. And that's what the selfish society is all about. And a selfish shift framework is about. It's about inner healing before external execution.
Yeah, it's very satisfying. Let me ask you another question.
Mm.
So, you've talked a little bit about this combination of perfectionism and procrastination and feeling stuck. This is a common sort of, it's like a nested issue that I see with a lot of people.
Mhm.
Feeling we want it to be perfect, so we procrastinate, and then we feel stuck and don't even stop. What's a practical step that somebody could take just today to start breaking that pattern?
One, recognizing it. You have to recognize that you are creating this pattern of doing these things, that it is a problem. Then release the shame behind it. So it's still the framework. Release the shame behind it. Then take action. And whatever that action looks like for you, because it's gonna look different for everybody.
How do they go about releasing the shame?
Acknowledging it. That awareness is such a key factor, and you have to realize it, acknowledge and acceptance, because we could acknowledge a lot of things, but if we don't accept it, we're still not gonna do anything about it. We have to accept that this is what's stopping me from getting to point B. I'm already at point A, but if I'm not gonna accept it, my role in it, I'm not gonna move my feet, and I'm not gonna get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And there's also a little bit of a division there between accepting that that behavior is there and acknowledging it and releasing the shame, and then the separation between the behavior and you, right?
Yes.
Like to accept that you are fine. You are enough. You already know enough. You don't need to be a different person to take those actions.
And the willingness. I know
Mm.
I'm ready to change, the willingness to change, because we could say we want change all we want, but are we truly ready for change? Are we ready to get outside of our comfort zone? Because even though I'm in this cycle, I'm comfortable here, and I know if I take the step out, it may not look like or feel like I feel in this moment where I'm at over here in my bubble.
So when somebody is willing to change, there's a time before you're willing. You might have the
Mhm.
awareness and then you start the willingness and
Mhm.
then you're ready to move forward. What do you notice as a trigger for people to finally be willing to release that?
They start creating a plan or they start seeking advice, doing the self-help books, doing YouTube and right now, Chat GPT and since AI has become the thing, let me put it in Chat GPT. How do I overcome this? So they start doing some research, and putting things into play. They create a plan before they start execution.
And there's a piece that we haven't spoken about yet that I think is really key in everything is it's the level of faith that this person has, right? You can do a lot of work with the head, but the real deep work happens when you have a heart connection and a level of faith. And I mean, I know that you're a Christian, but that is an important component of the work that you're doing. That level of faith happens in many religions with many
Mhm.
people, but it is a key component. Do you notice that as well?
Yes. A lot of the women that I work with are faith-filled women, and they seek a higher power in everything they do. For me personally, God has been the head of my life since I was a child. But as of recently, because when you're growing up, you are taught this is what you need to do. But as you become an adult, those your mind changes, and as you experience things in life, you get to experience your own relationship and build your own relationship and see things as an adult. Your perspective changes. Like when I was a kid, it was one way, but now that I'm seeing this stuff in real time for the things that's going on in my life and who's helping me and leading me and guiding me and who I'm trusting, whoever that may be, because we don't judge over here. We are just here to help, point blank, period. That's it. I don't want you to be stuck. I want to be able to help you get from point A to point B and become the woman that you're seeking to be in whatever that looks like for you. So God is a pillar. Your faith is your pillar, and it helps you in each and everything. We all need that higher power, whatever it is, whomever it is for you. You need something to trust in and to believe in to get you where you need to go. Because sometimes, honestly, it's not our friends and it's not our family that we could depend on. So you have to have something higher that you trust in and believe in.
And it's not to say that our friends and family don't mean well, but
Right.
they have their own things that are
Their own
going on in
things
their
they
life,
got. Yeah.
right? And they also know you as the person you were, not necessarily the person that you want to become.
Yes. Because sometimes they hold that against you.
Or it can be threatening. You want to do what with your
Yes.
life? But I liked you over here in this role.
And I mean, we change. As you get older, you learn different things, you get wiser, and you realize that certain behaviors no longer serve me. I'm not that girl no more. I don't even feel comfortable doing these things no more. And I know as long as I'm still around them, I'm not going to change. I'm going to stay stuck. So I have to make the decision to choose me. And that's what being selfish is all about, making the decision to finally choose you and not the version of you that everybody else wants to see, the version of you that you see when you look in the mirror, that future woman that you're seeking to become in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, in 1 year,
Right?
in 1 month.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's really powerful. There is a piece that we haven't spoken about, and it's this become the woman you were meant to be. So when somebody new comes into your world, they're, I'm guessing, in that place where life is okay or it's not, but they know something's not right. They know that they're not fitting in their life. Their life isn't the way that they expected or what they wanted, or they're dissatisfied or just disgruntled and they want
Mhm.
something else. How do you help them decide the woman that they are meant to be?
That brings me back to my very first client. Newly divorced, mother of two, trying to figure out who she was because her identity was wrapped into her husband and her kids. And we had to do a lot of work. But the one thing that I feel and that I know now was the pivotal moment for her. She had a childhood nickname that everybody called her by. And I was like, what if we did this? What if we stopped them from calling you by this nickname and started calling you by your name and see what difference that made? Because the nickname is the one that holds on to the childhood trauma, the one that's fighting to be covered, that child that's fighting, that wasn't protected. But this one is the one who's her protector. But as long as you're still attached, even though you're still the same person, as long as you're still holding on to that identity, you're going to fall back into those old patterns. And when she switched them from calling her by her nickname to her government name, that was the light bulb.
There's a place where you draw a line in the sand.
Mhm.
And when you're on this side of the line in the sand, you make a commitment to cross over to that new way of being. And it really feels like there's something like that at play. Like she drew her line in the sand that now I'm stepping into my given name and the who I'm becoming. There's a commitment level there
Yes.
too. Yeah.
She was ready. She was ready. She was like, "I can no longer be this person anymore." She it was so bad that she was even still hanging with one of her abusers, her child abusers, a connection to that. And between therapy and coaching, because 'cause I'm a big advocate for therapy as well. I'm like, as a coach, I could only help you go from point A and moving forward. I
Right.
can't deal with the back stuff. So I strongly suggested that she get into therapy, and with the combination of the two, that's what catapulted her transformation.
Yeah, and there's really that willingness, that theme of willingness again. Like she was willing to do the work, just that alone. Awareness that there's work to be done, willing to do the work, and then willing to make this shift into the woman that she was meant to be.
Yeah, the woman she's becoming, because she's now it's been 3 years, 2 or 3 years, I can't. And she just went back to school this year. She's now a college student working on her degree, something that she never thought she would be able to do. She started her own business, so she was able to flourish once she found herself.
What a great story. And we've been talking about these examples on the at the level of the individual, right? That woman is now being more of the woman she's meant to be. But I don't want to forget that when that individual changes, there is that massive ripple effect. If she has children, it affects her relationship with her children and it affects her children and how they grow. It affects the grocery store person who's stocking the shelves. Every interaction, it affects every single person. Yeah.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to know a little bit about your mission. You don't do work like this without having a strong mission. Can you talk a little
Mhm.
bit about that?
My mission is to help as many women as I can cry one less tear than I had to, because I cried many, and become that woman, become tap into self. Because that woman that's striving, that woman that's elevating, that woman that's leading, that woman that's flourishing, to truly tap into who she is at the core.
A real permission based there for them to be. And maybe that's the only chance they've had in their life
Yes.
to think like, who am I really? Right? Not in
They,
relationship to somebody else, but just
yeah.
for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no longer abandoning themselves, no longer neglecting themselves, no longer not prioritizing themselves, finally putting themselves first and saying, "I choose me today in this moment and moving forward."
Wonderful. That's so great. So as we get ready to wrap up, I know that you have a wonderful free gift for the listeners. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
It is a ebook, Breaking the Cycle 10 Step. It's a 10-step guide to overcoming self-sabotaging behaviors. And it's just something simple where it shows, breaks down different self-sabotaging behaviors, because there are plenty. And it gives tips on how to overcome them that they could implement today, not tomorrow. Today, do not wait till tomorrow. We start implementing today these tips on helping them overcome those self-sabotaging behaviors.
Is wonderful. I'll make sure to put the link in the show notes so it's easy for anybody to download and to come closer to you. And is there a way that they can learn more about you?
Instagram is the best place to find me, and I could be found at Your Selfish Coach.
Excellent. Great. And I'll put the link for that as well. So I've really enjoyed the conversation today. And it's really a reminder of the power of coaching and the impact that coaching can have on an individual's life. I'm so thankful that we had a chance to talk about it and to connect again. I love to
Yeah.
hear what you're up to. You've grown so much and you're having such an impact on people. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. Thank you for being a coach that coaches coaches. Thank you for being a coach that coaches coaches that actually do a specific niche. Well, not a specific niche, but because there's branding coaches and finance coaches, but a coach that actually coaches coaches in everything. But for me, what I needed, you were what I needed to help me move forward in my business where I was stuck and stagnant. And I truly appreciate you for being what I needed in my season and still being here to support me on this journey. I truly, truly appreciate you, Candy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, everyone, that is this episode. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And as you listen to Coach Risk, I want you to see for yourself, where is that place that you could move into a deeper relationship with yourself? And if nothing, I want this conversation to be that spark for you to get a little bit selfish, like Coach
Yeah,
Risk shares. Do the
itself.
thing that is right for you. You are worth it. You are worth having the life that you are meant to live. Thank you so much. And I'll be back and speak to you again next episode.